What we have inside here is a show, showcasing some of the most incredible glass-blowing artists from around North America. This is an incredible collection of headpieces that are usually carefully protected, that have been brought up here by hand by most of these artists, who are absolutely thrilled to be in Canada, where their pieces can be shown as the incredible art that they are, rather than being persecuted as drug device peddlers, so to speak. So come on inside and have a look at this incredible
awesome because you never could hold that. That moment is cool. It's a really interesting moment because it's like you can touch the glass and feel the texture and like feel the form in your hand and understand it. That gives you a whole new understanding of the glass, honestly. You know, like it's one thing to look at the glass, but run your finger around the surface to feel it because some glass is purposely not smooth, some of it is purposely totally smooth, shapes and contours. Like when you're a glass blower and you stare at a piece of glass while you're working it, we have a different perception. We look at the wall thickness in a way that I don't think people normally look at. You know what I'm saying? Because, I don't know. So, yeah, it's hard to, But to hold that piece and feel the technical, it's Chris McElroy. My man, what's the deal? Chris. So your piece, you have a wall hanging here, the last thing I have not put up because I don't know how to put it up without you. Put it up. So I'm Who did that? Chris, I'm right here.
I missed it.
That's good. That's good because it's fun TV boys. They'll use anything they can get their hands on. So Aaron knows that I'm stalking him.
Okay.
He's ready.
Did I get the price of your piece yet? Your dry piece and your lamp and anything else? Help me figure it out. I don't know. Why don't we just put it on top of it? Yeah. Why don't we put it on top of it? Somewhere like that. That'd be a really cool thing for that. And guys, have a guys figure out what they are. Okay, let me put it here first.
Really quick, I'm going to throw my jar in here.
Okay.
All right.
Marble close up.
Where's our door guy? Oh, there he is, B-Rod. Saying that there was someone on the door.
You did it? So we are sitting here with the infamous Marbleslanger, the artist and organizer who's responsible for all of this chaos here tonight, although the chaos seems to be getting under control. What have you created? What kind of a beast is this that you've built?
Well, I didn't really build anything. I'm just trying to actually bring together kind of a whole movement that's sort of been an invisible culture for a long time, which, I don't know, I'm kind of calling the glass pipe art movement for lack of a better term. But it's basically a bunch of artists that express themselves using lampwork borosilicate glass. And they make lots of different stuff, but a lot of us got involved with glass or express ourselves through really intricate glass pipes. So just putting that together in the setting of an art show to honor these pipe makers as artists and check out in one place all the different styles and aesthetics and that have developed in the art scene, basically.
The couple of blowers that I've chatted with so far seem so stoked to have somebody want to showcase their work and showcase them as artists. You know, like a few people seem a bit chuffed, you know, and that's fucking excellent.
I think the thing is a lot of people are just unaware that this whole culture exists, and that glass pipes have gotten to a point where they're more than just something that's functional, but they're used as a medium of artistic expression. Lots of other functional objects have been used throughout many different cultures throughout history, of people expressing themselves artistically through a functional object. People have been expressing themselves through pipes throughout history in all different types of cultures. Native Americans made pipes. African tribes made different types of pipes, and those were a lot of the first examples of cultural artwork or folk art. And this is just another part of that historical cultural cycle, a culture that a lot stems from Grateful Dead culture and the Grateful Dead lot, and people just making small functional pipes, but being inspired by lots of different aspects to want to make them more decorative and express themselves through that. It's actually really interesting to ask each individual their motivation of why they want to make a pipe in the first place, because a lot of these people are people who have such a high level of proficiency with the medium of glass and are also getting to a point of expressing themselves as artists where they could easily not make it a functional pipe, and they could market themselves to a whole different audience, you know, the more mainstream just culture. And also, you know, there's the complications of things like Operation Pipe Dreams and John Ashcroft and the whole gray area of legality that makes you wonder, why would artists that have such visions and have such skill levels with this glass want to still make it so it could function as a pipe? And that's...
What is your answer to that question for yourself as an artist?
Honestly, I got into glass the idea of making a functional pipe, so for the function of the pipe. Once I started playing with, as an artist, I was an artist before I got into the medium of glass. I discovered the medium of glass. I looked at it really more at first as a craft and as a way that I could just honestly make a living by creating something with my hands and selling it as opposed to having a job. So at first it was more a monetary thing, yet I was interested in the medium and learning it. So making pipes enabled me to, every time I made a pipe, that was a lesson in lamp working glass and understanding how the glass flows and blowing the glass. And every time pipe was a very sellable thing. So when I could sell that, I could afford to buy more materials. I could afford to keep myself going with the medium, because it's very expensive. The glass materials, have the overhead of a glass shop, to every aspect of it, just to actually have a kiln and the torches and everything, and that's before you've even created something. So what it was every single pipe was a lesson in learning how to do it. Like the roots of the glass that we use is more in a scientific thing. Well, we use borosilicate glass, which is people know as Pyrex, which is just a brand name for borosilicate glass. Traditionally, a lot of the borosilicate glass, there's lots of different types of glass that are used for different reasons to create different things. So for instance, some people, like the most common form of glass blowing is blowing out of a furnace. So you could blow very large stuff by gathering big gathers of already hot molten glass. But that glass works at a lower temperature so it can stay molten. The glass we use is harder glass that works at a hotter temperature. So, you know, you use Pyrex plates in a microwave, or you can use them. They're cook safe, and so they're also used in laboratories and Bunsen burners, and traditionally they're used mostly for scientific apparatus. Besides that, artistically, you've probably seen people lamp working borosilicate glass maybe in a mall or at a carnival, making mostly little types of trinkets, or at Disney World making Donald Ducks and Mickey Mouses. It's just in the last, I'd say, 25 years or even less that people have started using this actual type of working glass and this type of glass to express themselves more artistically as opposed to scientifically. Now, interestingly enough, the reason that pipes are used this type of glass is because of the function. If you're going to use a lighter and light the pipe constantly, if it's going to be a softer type of glass, not borosilicate, but a different type like furnace glass, it will crack eventually due to stress of having too much heat on it. So this type of glass we use to create functional pipes comes from a scientific roots. Now, as pipe makers and people inspired by everything, everyone has their own inspirations, okay? So I can't speak for everyone, but a lot of us trace our roots to a man named Bob Snodgrass, who was one of the first people that was actually trying to put some kind of coloration in the pipes using gold and silver fuming, which is the famous color changing pipe phenomenon. And he was also involved in going on tour with the Grateful Dead and selling his small color-changing pipes there on the Grateful Dead lot, which got a whole psychedelic culture interested. More at first through the function, but then if you think about what people were smoking through those pipes and about that sort of the Grateful Dead scene and the artistic movement surrounding that just bled over to pipes, and young people who want to be artists, who want to work for themselves, maybe don't want to get a job, they're done touring with the Dead, they went to people like Bob Snodgrass and the people he taught, and that culture spread to other people. And the more it spread, the more people got ideas to try to make something more. These little pipes that Snoddy and his predecessors made were treasured little items by people. And so it was fun to try to come up with new aesthetics and new ways and be unique. And people started putting their signatures on them and coming with their own styles. And from there, it's just going off where now if you come forward another 10 or 15 years from when Snodgrass started putting that stuff on the Dead lot, we have all sorts of actual companies that are creating torches and new types of color glass that's coming out to color and pattern the glass, and all sorts of different techniques from other styles of working glass are now being incorporated by these young people and manipulated into these pipes. And so
there's a huge social aspect to it. There's an economic piece of it too.
There's a huge economic piece. Everything from it doesn't just stem to the paraphernalia industry and people selling glass pipes. It goes before that. The prequel of that are the companies that are making the color glass and the companies that are making the torches. They've gotten to a point where they shied away at first because of the controversy of the idea of the culture of making glass pipes, but they're realizing now that is what their biggest market is, and they're marketing directly to that. I'm talking about the people who make the materials we use, the technical stuff, the torches, the color glass, the raw glass. They're marketing directly to the pipe makers because the pipe makers are a huge percentage of their market, and that's the reality of it at this point. So the industry, it's like anything. Everything is interconnected. Nothing is in and of itself. The pipe scene does not exist in and of itself. And
do you think that this is that this show tonight is significant in the way that it could be a shift in the way that glass artists are perceived, and the way that they're perceived and the way that they're exposed to the public as well? You think that we might start to see more of a trend of glass artists being showcased as artists rather than next to the rolling papers?
I definitely think that's the idea. That's the goal. And if we're at all successful at that, then we've accomplished our mission. I have to give a lot of props and thanks out to another glass artist friend of mine named Brian McCauley, who signed his pieces as Gasp. And in 2003, March 9th, I think, 2003, he threw the first ever glass pipe art show in a gallery down in San Francisco. It was actually called the Melting Point also. It was the inspiration for the name of this place. And he had the same idea amongst us. He's actually a peer of mine that we went to art school together and stuff, and so we knew each other before we even blew glass pipes. And anyway, his vision was the same as what we were talking here of, like, removing them from the setting of next to cannabis magazines and next to rolling papers and next to things. And see, the idea is we're trying to have people focus on the art, and the fact that it functions as a pipe, honestly, is secondary to these artists, including myself. And so instead of if you surround these pieces in just other paraphernalia and propaganda that's to do with cannabis, it's not necessarily that I'm against that. It's not necessarily I'm for that. But what that just says is that this piece is used for cannabis and its paraphernalia, which is not even, that's a whole other issue that I'm not trying to tackle in this statement here. But what I'm trying to say is, by putting the pipes on pedestals, by putting them next to other art pieces in an art gallery, having an actual art opening that's catered, where the artists have their titles or their names, where they make an artist statement, that all is putting the pipes in a context that other art traditionally has been put in, and as a result, it validates these pieces as art and not just pretty paraphernalia, or you know what I'm saying? Like, so that's really important, and that's where my friend Brian, aka Gasp, was starting that in San Francisco in 2003. He conceived this idea for his show before Operation Pipe Dreams happened.
Tell us about Operation Pipe Dreams. I don't think that everybody necessarily knows
Operation
exactly
Pipe
what the
Dreams
parameters of that
is the name of, there was actually two operations, Operation Pipe Dreams and Operation Headhunter, and they were particular initiatives working in collaboration. The DEA, the Department of Justice, and a bunch of other government officials launched a full federal investigation, and finally a roundup where they ended up arresting 51 people We kind of have the date that they actually announced it and launched it was February 24th, 2003. And there were a whole bunch of different companies that were advertising openly on the internet to sell things like, glass water pipes and glass pieces and stuff. And they were paying taxes. They, thought they were staying within the law by saying they wouldn't sell to people under, no minors, no one under 18 of age could purchase their products, and they were for tobacco use only, et cetera, without any warning at all. The DEA and the Department of Justice kicked down the doors of these people, seized, a lot of their property and their businesses, and freeze their assets. And Tommy Chong, who was one of the people involved in his business, his son was running a business called Chong Glass, got arrested. He's actually the one person that ended up in jail. A lot of other people on house arrest. Some of the more notable people I can remember off the top of my head that got busted were Jerome Baker, bongs, or water pipes, and I don't know, a bunch of different companies, but 101 North. But yeah, it was basically, the federal government has a definition of paraphernalia, and it's kind of like in the United States, there's just like a lot of huge gray areas. And so the federal government decided to act on their definition and enforce what they thought was the law in terms of defining these pieces of drug paraphernalia, even though these people thought they were within the law. So basically what they did was, if anyone was curious about whether or not glass pipes or paraphernalia was legal or illegal, they were trying to establish that these things were illegal, but there's still a gray area because there's still people obviously arguing that they're either for art purposes, they're for tobacco purposes, they're for legal herb purposes. So it's, it's one of those things. It's like...
But the risk has increased for blowers.
Well,
in the
basically
States.
what they've done is the federal government has said that federally it's against the law. The state laws are all individual and different. So state by state, things are different. One of the things they were going after at first, mostly pipe dreams, was interstate trafficking. So people who were basically they want the people with a lot of money who were sending stuff from one state to another. What the federal government's doing at this point, they actually launched another operation 1 year about to the date of Operation Pipe Dreams called Operation Pipe Cleaner, where they're doing the same sort of thing. They're basically they're encouraging local law enforcement to go in and clean up their local area if they so choose. So police in all sorts of different areas, and we're getting reports from everywhere, all over the United States, places from Texas to Virginia to upstate New York to Illinois, Detroit, all different random places, incidents of local law enforcement deciding to give warnings or confiscate pieces or raid places. So it's kind of like, based on the local constituents, but the federal government's giving their full blessing and encouraging it. So it's not only is it something that happened like in 2003, but now we're in 2004 and they're continuing the initiative. So there's a huge gray area. Almost all the websites that are at least coming out of the United States that sell anything that you could be considered for paraphernalia, no matter what, they're pretty much shut down. Glasspipes.org is a not-profit gallery page that some people have put together, that any glass pipe artist is welcome to start a gallery and display their work. And so it's kind of open. So a lot of the stuff has been being channeled through that site right now.
Excellent. So, the heat is on, so to speak, on the glass blowers. You've done a fabulous job of pulling all these folks up. The artist seems so stoked. It's a beautiful night. And they're playing some jazz, so I think we should go catch a tune.
Right on.
Thanks, Aaron.
I'm ready to check it out. Thank you.
Leave that up to the pros.
Well, you know, what were you saying about those books you were looking at with the pipes and art or whatever you were
These
talking
tribal
about?
books that have been around for, you know, they show these pieces that are hundreds, you know, sometimes thousands of years old, you know, and these pipes, they're there. I mean, and they weren't just a functional thing, they had art on them.
Yeah, you know,
They spent time making them, and you have to remember that, like, most of them are ceremonial pipes, so, like, they're meant to be used, you know, in very specific times, something, you know, like Christmas, Easter.
What I think a lot of the first, it seems like, I wonder when did the idea of fine art come in, where people made art that didn't function? Because it seems traditionally, if you look back to like cavemen or whatever you want, and also the ancient cultures, come to now, it seems like traditionally the first signs of artistic expression came mostly in the forms of functional things. Like from what I've read, and like things that got you intoxicated, especially, were made more decorative. So it'd be a pipe, or even just like a vase or some kind of like vessel that would hold like intoxicating beverage or something like that would be more decorated and artistic, you know. But it seems like that's like there wasn't a necessity to necessarily make like a painting to hang on your wall or a sculpture that just expressed how I felt for someone to take back to their cave or their hut, you know. So the first forms of artistic expression were going to lie in more of a functional thing, like an everyday thing you're using. Someone might start decorating a little more, a spear or something they drink out of or something they smoke out of. You know what I'm saying?
Look how far we've come.
Yeah, exactly. You find when you like pull the camera out, everything changes. And like I said, some people are comfortable with cameras. Some people.
Check this out.
I'm almost gonna like, I want to keep it on at all points. So I have to like, be like, hey, I'm pulling my camera out.
You need to find out your tally lamp setting. Because look.
Well, yeah.
Are you watching? Look at the front of my camera. Is it
Okay.
on or is it off?
I don't know.
It's on.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, that's the thing.
And
See.
I'm showing them, like I turned the red light off, so you don't know if it's on or off.
How do I do this?
So that way, like, I can just roll in and be talking to somebody sometimes. And, I mean, I would, you know, it's like, there's people that I know that are, like, down to be interviewed and are, like, totally into, like, promoting their work. And I know there's, like, things that you just don't need to put on. You know, I don't want to sit there and, like, take a bunch of people smoking. I mean, unless we're all talking and, like, everybody seems cool with it, you know.
That's the idea. I just want to have it nonchalant. But I don't want to waste the battery too much. That's why I didn't have it totally like, whatever. You can't just put me like, oh, we're having a great conversation. Now I'm pulling my camera out.
Yeah, even now he's like, but he's like always knows that I'm not.
Hey, chilling.
Is that a camera or a video camera?
Video camera. So what do you think of the glass?
It's fucking awesome. It's amazing.
What piece sticks out to you?
Oh my god. Okay, there's so many for so many different reasons. Like, you better not do it.
No, I'm not doing anything.
Do you see Chris McElroy's piece? I don't know if you remember his name. He had like a little bottle. They're all African colors and
Beautiful.
crazy
And then, like,
sandblasted.
yeah, beautiful stuff.
He doesn't even make pipe. He has
That's what I heard.
It's going good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm gonna finish my documentary. Plus, I have my other film guy going around getting documentary.
Yeah. But you can see the meticulous.
Just have it ready for people having conversations about glass. Just get it here.
Like certain ones, you know, like it's not as particular.
Right.
You know what I mean? Just the way it can flow out.
Does she blow glass?
But
She does my tattoos. Hey Bonnie, this is Matt and Misha. They blow glass. Usually in rain,
Hello.
they blow glass on.
Here.
Bonnie, does my work?
Yeah.
It was a.
Do you do tattooartist.org? Is that you or someone else?
Justin.
Okay. She's the one to show me that. She does like glasspipes.org, glassartist.org.
Okay, yeah, he's like, oh, geez.
They're just
not on the
sites. They're just sites. I just help out on.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it was our little trade project. It's like, okay, it's like, you know, on the end.
Mess back here we need to take care of. It looks like it's like parts of people's lists, purses. I just want to get this thing go back to all these garbage cans. And a floor tour we'll put downstairs.
I'm bringing the garbage like downstairs.
Hey Aaron, what do you think of getting B-Run at 40 to tell people that they can't have that?
Yeah.
Where is Sean? Sean's right here. Okay, cool. Is he okay? Keep that out of this room. Because it's like I don't want those things to see my so as long as you drink that.
word.
So we're here with Brian, one of the first glassblowers that I've known, actually. And tell us, why the hell are you a glassblower? How'd you get into this crazy
Well,
nook?
let's see. I guess probably the first time I was exposed to glass art was up in Aspen. I was hanging out and I saw a Dale Chihuly piece, and I was like, wow, if I want to do art that looks really fun and big and crazy, and also it was really expensive. Not that it mattered, but I was just blown away to see a piece that had so much value in it, or worth. So,
You were inspired.
yeah, I was inspired by the colors and stuff. So that, and yeah, I loved pipes too. I really enjoyed that. I made pipes out of ceramics before that a little bit,
Yeah.
and then made a lot of art out of ceramics too. But snuck some pipes in there, high school style,
Yeah.
college style.
Yeah.
It was great.
Speaking of high school style, some of the pieces that you have in here are
Yeah.
a little reflective of high school style with the...
Yeah, the
Tell
Coke
us
can and the
about those.
apple. I basically reverted to real common pipes that I think everybody's smoked out of, that really that are not made out of glass. That one's a pop can and the other one is a couple of apples. But I titled the pop can one Coca-Cola because I'm really not that into Coca-Cola, and I'm really not that into smoking out of cans.
Totally, that's hilarious. This is a pretty unusual event that's happening here. I don't know that there's ever been a glass show quite like this before. I mean, maybe there has, but not in Vancouver, that's for sure.
Not in Vancouver and not in Canada.
Not in Canada.
It's really a first for Canada, which is impressive.
What does it mean to you to have your stuff in this show?
I'm really proud just to be with all the different artists I see here, because what's impressive is you have a really powerful movement that came with the pipes. It selected out some really good craftspeople and artists, and then those people are taking it to the next level, and they're ready to, like, with the way everybody's building these huge pieces and the technically and the way everything's going together, they're ready to push it way over the limit. It's amazing. It's fun to be part of, or at least to be able to witness this movement, I guess, so closely. It's neat to have it in Vancouver.
Awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you.
What's up, all right?
He sneaks up on the conversations and whatever, captures it.
Quiet song. Got a little played out.
So at Melting Point has recently opened a raw food cafe, and tonight at the glass show down at the opening, they have provided us with this incredible spread of living food. These ones are a particularly tasty set. Raw food veggie.
Trying to get good news? Yeah.
What's that? I don't know.
Thank you.